Hello, 422. Hope everyone is doing well. I am going to share my screen here in a second. Forgive me, I know the lighting is a little off. I'm filming this actually on Thursday, October 29th. It's that really rainy day. I have a big windows right beside my office, but there's no light coming in. So all I have are lights and a squeaky chair. I'm going to do the best I can. I will try not to look like I'm coming at you like that. This is not going to be too long of a lecture, but I'll kind of get into what we're kind of doing for the week and going from there. So let me share my screen and get into a few things. All right, let me scoot that down. This week, let's just go ahead and pull it up on the syllabus. That'll probably be the easiest thing to do. All right, I just want to make sure we're on the same page with a few things. And before I do that, I'm sorry, I wanted to send out an apology. Hey, if anyone was planning on coming to that Google Classroom training, I do apologize. The gentleman who's doing it from Jefferson County Schools is fantastic. He actually he had something pop up about an hour and a half before. It was totally not his fault. It was just one of those things that happened, but he couldn't do the training. He's fine. We're going to reschedule it. We didn't want to do it on election day, so it is actually going to be November the 5th. If you want to come, I would really recommend especially if you're going to be in Jefferson County or Washington County. I almost said Berkeley. Berkeley uses Schoology. If you're going to be in Jefferson or Washington County, make sure you might want to take a peek. I know Dr. Tuttle has actually said something. A few of you are in 370 about checking it out. He's a really good trainer. He gets into stuff. I've done a session with him. Leanna actually did something where we did an informal one where they kind of got together with the 370 when they went out. I know she was there for that. So that's one thing. The other thing is I need to acknowledge this. Hey, it was great. Actually, I think I talked to everyone in this class one-on-one for advisement the last 2 weeks. I think everyone's ready to roll. Special shout out to Logan, because Logan, I think I actually advised this morning and my Zoom/email was going crazy and he was very patient, at least on Zoom. If I wouldn't blame him if he wasn't behind the scenes, but thanks, Logan. With that being said, I think everyone sounds like they're on a good path. I wanted to I'm not going to get into a big lecture this week because I just want to point out some things on the syllabus. I don't want to overload and just do a big info dump. Normally, if we were meeting traditionally, this will be when we'll be doing the micro teaching. So I want to talk about that for a second because there's been some questions on that during advisement and such. So let's just rock and roll. All right, this coming week is the 2nd through the 9th. You have your 4th quiz. By the way, some people have asked, and I'm glad you did. I'm going to go back through the quizzes because I know with the additions, I think some of the bad questions have funneled through. So don't get overly concerned about these quizzes. I haven't had a chance to go back through, but if there's trash questions, I'm tossing them. So don't worry about it. The quizzes are not meant to destroy you. Actually, the fact that you're all catching that is all I really need to know, that you're looking at the book. And that's my main goal with the quizzes. Blog 10. I am not going to record anything too fancy or at all for Blog 10. I'm basically just going to ask you all, what's a resource that you think you would use? Have you seen something that maybe another teacher you had has used that you're going to definitely employ in the classroom and why you like it? I'm just going to put that as a prompt. You can blog on it. It will be up. Go for it. Again, nothing fancy. You all been out in the field now, maybe you've seen something that you really like and you want to employ, and I don't want to just hog all the resources. Plus it'll give you a chance to maybe share it a little bit, or I'd like to see what maybe you all have seen that maybe I can try to steal. The Flipgrid this week, I will have that posted up in reply. A couple things. The micro teaching, that is, I can give you, because I know we got a few things coming up. The micro teaching is coming up, and some of you have asked about the filming. I don't care if you filmed in your classroom. I think almost everyone in here, everyone should either be in 370 or 443. If you've recorded a lesson or you've had a chance to record more than one lesson, that's fine. That can meet the requirements. The only thing I ask, it can't be something that you filmed and submitted to Dr. Tuttle or Dr. Johnson or Dr. Cable. I think some of you may even have. I don't want to assess the same things that they did. One, I just think that opens all of us up for just like different debates and things like that. Some people have asked if it's something that I was part of that lesson, but I only submitted part of what I filmed to that other teacher. Can I submit the other part to you? Yes. If it has not been seen by another professor, that's totally fine with me. The micro teaching is only supposed to be a little snippet of something. I just want to see you all teach because I haven't got to see you teach yet. Normally, when we do the micro teaching, we just do it in class. People come in and do stations. We talk about it, have some reaction. That's it. That's not due this week, by the way. That's you still got a little bit of time on that. If you just want to record something different, it doesn't. It only needs to be about 10 minutes. If it is part of your unit plan, I don't need a lesson plan because I'll probably be grading these all around the same time. If you are filming something totally different, get me some sort of, it doesn't have to be a detailed lesson plan. I just kind of want to see the objectives, the standards, what you're assessing or anything like that. If you can get that stuff to me, that would be good. It doesn't have to be detailed if it isn't part of the unit plan. If it's part of the unit plan, I already have it, so you don't have to worry about it. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, just fire me an email. Also, unit plan is coming up. Actually, I think it says the 22nd. Technically, we're not on the 22nd. I would actually take them even the early part, I think on the 23rd, because this campus isn't closed. So I'm going to be around. I'm going to be doing advisement. If you really need that following weekend, that's fine. The only thing I ask is that make sure I do need them by that date so I can get them graded, because this is, believe it or not, 8 in this class is actually somewhat it's kind of average, but it's actually a little bit on the large side, believe it or not. And I do really go through those unit plans. If you have any questions with that, please email me. Also, I know on here it says the C3 unit plan. Don't sweat that too much. That was something before pre-pandemic I was envisioning a little bit. I was going to revitalize the unit plans a little bit and how we were going to do it. I was really going to stress that inquiry arc, which I'm actually going to talk about today again. But that's, I like, there was another template. I think I even showed it to you earlier, but I was going to employ that. I decided to go with the 370 template mostly because I just thought for communication purposes and such, it was just an easier way to go. So it's just your unit plan. If you're having any problems with that, please feel free to contact. There's a template posted right online on Sakai if you need it with the unit plan. That's kind of the up-to-date stuff, I think. Again, blog, whatever you want for this week. It's your resource. Flipgrid will be posted. Quiz 4 will be up. If there's any problems with Quiz 4, just don't curse at me too hard. I'm going to try to go through all that this week. All right. What I wanted to show you all was, excuse me one quick. All right. I think that's it. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. All right. Yep. I'm just being nosy, making sure. All right. This week, one thing I did want to mention, Sarah's actually been really awesome about asking some of these questions, and I just wanted to rehash because it is really important. It's something that you may, when you're interviewing, you may want to name drop this a little bit, but it's the inquiry arc. If you remember way back in late August, early September, when we were really talking about the National Council of Social Studies, one of the things that came up was the C3 method. That is just a fancy term for the inquiry arc. I am going to just rehash that just slightly and make this very simplistic. But the inquiry arc, or the C3 framework, is basically just a lot of school districts, and EdTPA, by the way, really like to see you try to employ an inquiry arc into your lessons. And basically, you're probably saying, okay, is that looking at documents? What is that 100%? Well, there's 4 dimensions to an inquiry arc. There's the idea of developing questions and planning inquiries. That's maybe looking at a document or just coming up with these questions. Don't worry, I'm going to show you something here in a minute about how the questions are formulated. You apply disciplinary tools and things. That could be graphs. It could be different types of documents. There's different ways to do the inquiry. It could be a political cartoon. It could be a speech. It could be a letter. It could be any of that. And then the students evaluate the source, and they use evidence to kind of make deductions and things like that. And then they communicate those conclusions. That could be through a presentation. It could be completing some sort of model. It might even be an anchor chart of some type. It's no hard and fast rules, but there are 4 dimensions to the inquiry arc, and these are the dimensions. I'm posting this article, don't worry. This is from the National Council of Social Studies. It's the C3 framework. If you really want to think about it, and this is how I'm a very visual type person. That's how I learn. I'm just how I am. If you look here, I've shared these before, and I've actually used this template. This was the template I was originally going to have us do, but it's a little, it can be a little moody, so I backed off. If anyone's interested, I will share it with you. But it's basically how this is, as you can see, it's from New York, but they use the C3 or inquiry arc to create different lesson plans. And what happens, and you can think about this a little bit, but basically to me, the inquiry arc is that you're going to come up with one big question. And as this one, it says, does it matter who freed the slaves? That's the question. And then you're going to have, depending, I like 3, you can do 4, some people do 2. 3 is nice though. Then you're going to have 3 supporting questions. Boom. What legal steps were taken to end slavery? What arguments do historians make about who ended slavery? Butchered that. What arguments do historians make about who ended slavery? And what are the implications of the debate over who ended slavery? I'm going to say all that one more time. Major question, does it matter who freed the slaves? Big question. Supporting question, what legal steps were taken to end slavery? That's one question. Supporting question 2, which I keep messing up, what arguments do historians make about who ended slavery? And supporting question number 3, what are the implications of the debate over who ended slavery? That's your design. That's your number 1. And as you can see, everything is linked together. There's a formative task. That's your formative assessment. Create an annotated timeline that describes legal steps taken from 1861 to 1865 to end slavery. What are the sources? What are your students going to look at? What are the tools that they're going to use? They might have different things. For example, they might have portions of the Emancipation Proclamation, the 13th Amendment. They're going to look at that. That might even be your day 1. This could be your day 2. This could be your day 3. And as you can see, they have it all in there in your arguments. But after you do all this, after they have the questions, after they have actually started to use their tools and the documents that they have on there, and they make assumptions, they're going to somehow present that or share it. It could be, there's different ways to do it. They might do, like I say, an anchor chart. They might do a presentation. There's nothing there. Well, actually, as you can see, there is a summative performance task. Doesn't matter who freed the slaves. Construct an argument. Detailed poster, essay, outline. Actually, it should be detailed outline, poster, essay that addresses the compelling questions. Question, whose specific claim and relevant evidence from historical sources while acknowledging competing views. That was a little tongue-tied, so I'm going to say it one more time. Basically, what you're going to do, this is very simplistic, but 1, big question. 2, 3 supporting ones. I'm not going to reread them. 3, you're going to have something that they're going to do to examine it. Those are the things that they're examining. And as you can see, there can even be repeats. Boom, 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 boom. And then the students are going to somehow share what they've discovered. And in this one, they're going to do an outline, poster, or essay. That's it. That's the inquiry arc. 4 steps. That's it. Nothing fancy. But EdTPA actually makes note about the inquiry arc. So you may really think about when you're starting to plan your EdTPA in the spring or fall. Some of you are spring, some are fall, next fall. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through everyone's placement in my head. You want to make sure, I would make sure I have some sort of document or something that the students are examining. I don't think you have to go like this formal sometimes. But you need to show that there's some sort of compelling question and some sort of document that they're looking at. I'm going to pick on Sarah on this video, but Sarah's doing something that she showed me in her class. It meets the inquiry arc. She's having the students present it. They're examining things. It could be ads. It could be political cartoons. It doesn't have to be anything super heavy, but it's just got to be relevant to the question that you're looking at. The other reason why I like this, and you're all going to see this, those of you that are in 461 next semester, this overriding question always reminds me, in EdTPA, you have to have something called your central focus. The central focus is kind of like this question, even though the central focus is actually phrased as a statement, it's very similar. It's similar in the concept. So anyway, I know that was a little babbled, but 4 dimensions, have a big question, have the supporting questions, have some sources, have the students examine the sources, have them come to conclusions, and have them present the sources. That's the inquiry arc. Just wanted to rehash it, since this is, like I say, a little bit of a little bit of a downtime in the class as far as like lecturing and such, because we're going to be looking. You all need to be working on your micro teaching. You need to be working on your lesson plans. Excuse me, rephrase that. Unit plans. And just in case anyone's going to ask me, hopefully you've made it to the end of this video. Someone's going to say, how many lessons need to be in our unit plan? I believe I said it needs to be 4 to 5. If I said anything different, please let me know. But 4 to 5, that should be a week's worth of lessons, basically. Unit plans and lesson plannings to me are not hard. They're just time consuming. It's like trying to fit a puzzle in. Take your time, make sure you answer the questions, make sure you take out any of the stuff that doesn't apply if you're using the template. This is unique times. If you have a unit plan or a lesson plan template that you really like, and as long as everything that is on that template is in your lesson plan, I usually do not complain too much. I just want to see that you're creating good lesson plans, because it is part of your EdTPA that's coming up in the future. You just did your US history assignments related to EdTPA. I'm going to look at those, but hopefully you picked up that there's 3 things that you're going to be scored on: instruction, assessment, and planning, or planning, instruction, assessment in proper order. That's kind of the holy trinity of teaching. I mean, that's it. You got those 3 things down. It's great. And also another thing to kind of keep in mind, I'll be the first to admit this was probably one of my big weaknesses also, but a lot of times making sure that your assessments can be easily mapped back to your objectives and your standards and things like that. That's always important. And I'm sure Dr. Johnson has said this because she's awesome. I have that officially on film, so we can just say it. One thing is you might want to think about mini assessments or mini summatives when you do your EdTPA. Just something that's, a lot of times we consider it as formative, but I mean just something that you can kind of just get a quick snapshot of whether the students really have it in the day. And I'm not just talking about a Kahoot. I'm talking about some sort of detailed exit assignment. Doesn't even have to be an exit ticket, but maybe you're having them do some sort of reflection, or they're ranking something or something along those lines. So with that being said, I will zip it. Remember, there will not be a resource one. You're just going to put a resource for the final one that you would like to use, that you've seen in the field, or you've seen other teachers use, or you have used yourself, or you just found. And with that being said, I will make sure everything is posted up. Sorry, small hiccup. I'm recording these things all day. If you have 380, you probably noticed the lighting is very similar, and I'm in the Edelbauer like fleece here. So I'm going to call it a day. I think my wife is ordering Mexican food, so I'm kind of getting hungry, and I have to go pick it up. So we'll just call it a day, and hope everyone's having a great week, semester. If you need anything, please make sure to contact me, and I'm a long goodbye, but it was great meeting everyone this week. That actually has been my favorite thing this semester, was actually getting to talk to everyone kind of one-on-one, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and all, especially because I don't see you all like on a Monday night or anything like that. So talk to you later.